Hey everybody, Omar here, the Knife Shark Guy, and I am back with another Kershaw discontinued piece. Now, as you guys know, in my last video, I've been on this sort of series kick with my Kershaw knives. My collection has gotten bigger and larger, and of course, as you know, with any collection, whether it's a Kershaw collection or a customs collection, no matter what it is, the larger your collection is, the more fun you can have in collecting the knives, and that's pretty much what's been happening to me. In my last video, I did a Kershaw Boa series, and today I'm going to be doing the same thing, except, you know, I don't like to do a series unless I have a new knife to show you, or at least in this case, a new discontinued knife. And today we're going to be taking a look at the Kershaw Gray Speedbump 1595. I'm pretty sure a lot of you guys have this knife. My box is kind of beat up. You know, it's a little sad looking box, but the knife definitely is not sad at all. So, this is the Kershaw Gray Speedbump. This knife pretty much came out mid-2000. I'm going to say somewhere right around between 2004 and 2009, this knife was very, very popular as a budget boulder, which is what this is. So let's go ahead and get right into it by starting with the specs on this knife. So this is the Kershaw Speedbump. The blade length on this knife is roughly 3.5 inches long. The handle length is 5 inches long. The overall length is 8.5 inches. The blade thickness is 0.12. The blade itself, the blade material or the steel on it, is 1326C. N, which of course is the older version of 14C28N steel. This is a recurved blade style. The blade grind is hollow somewhat, I guess. It is a bead blasted knife. The pocket clip is tip up, right carry, and the designer is Ken Onion. Now, they re-released this knife after this in sort of a flat black version. Not the version you see here, but basically it was all flat black made with aluminum scales. This knife, the handle on this knife is made of, I believe it's polybendum is the name of the material, and it has sort of a rubber texture on it for grip. This knife probably has the best grip I have ever felt on a knife as far as using it, say maybe even using it in the rain. It's perfect because that rubber gripping really keeps a good solid grip on your hand there. So let's take a quick look at this knife all the way around. There you go. This is a speed-safe, spring-assisted knife. The knife is perfectly centered. It is practically dead on. Pocket clip is sort of like a black-washed color, really kind of cool. The scratches on the back of the pocket clip, that's actually pre-scratched. They did that to give it that worn-out look. That's not anything that I've done on it. Now, what's interesting about this piece is the mechanism on it. It doesn't have it's not a liner lock or a frame lock. It's basically what's called a stud lock. Now, they've done this kind of lock before on knives, and I can't think of any currently right now that actually have. The Kershaw Offset, it's got the stud lock on it. This particular mechanism actually went away. It's basically what they did was they created these what they call stud locks. So as you can see in the knife, and you don't see this anymore, in this knife, the mechanism, you can see a little spring in there. Pretty sure you can see that spring that's in there, and that kind of sort of allows the knife to lock and unlock at the same time. So I'm going to show that to you right now. So there you go. So there you have it. The stud lock has now been activated, and now you can't take that. There's no way that you can close that blade unless you take your thumb, push on it, and then close the knife. So that's basically how the mechanism works on this piece. It also has a lock on it, as you can see right there, to prevent the knife from opening up in your pocket, because at the time, spring assists were fairly new, and they didn't want to have people having that particular incident happen where the knife would open up in their pocket. So they added a lock, and of course, if you take the lock and you push it up, that basically blocks the knife, and now I can press on this real hard. There's no way I'm going to be able to open that thing up. It's just not possible. I would actually have to unlock it, and then I'd be good to go. So there you have it. What's interesting about the stud lock is that it actually doubles as the thumb stud. So you can actually use this to deject the knife, and at the same time it will lock in place. Sort of a 2-in-1 mechanism. Kind of cool. Right, so if you're not a flipper person, you can do that fairly easily. It has gray polybendum, scales on it, I guess. Sort of plasticky feeling, but this rubber gripping is really the key to the entire ergonomics of the knife. I mean, it just makes it feel fantastic. Another thing about this Kershaw Speedbump is that you would think that this lump sitting here would be kind of annoying when you grab the knife, but actually it's quite comfortable in your hand. I'm not uncomfortable with that there at all. It just gives it a really good, quick grip on that. I think it feels great. The recurve blade does look quite weird. It's got sort of a three-way swedge here, so you can see the knife has the swedge up there, and then it breaks off in this flat surface here in the light, and then it gets right down into the grind there, as you can see. Really interesting the way they did that. So this knife, when it was running, I believe it ran, you could actually buy this knife anywhere from $89.99 to $109 back in 2004. That's basically what the knife cost. Now, the knife did come in other versions. Like I said, I have other versions of these knives. These are more of the high-end versions of them. This is the Kershaw G10 Starburst version with the DLC black coating on it, as you can see right there. Then they released two other versions of the same knife in titanium green and the more rare titanium blue. Really kind of cool. So there you have it, the entire Kershaw Bump series. I am absolutely jacked to have all four in my collection. I'm probably going to wind up doing this to not all of my knives, but some of the ones that I really enjoy. I'll be getting multiple versions of those knives just because I really like them. The Offset is one of them that I'm planning on continuing in the series, in this sort of series format where I get more than one version. And the Kershaw Tirade, which I've done a video on that. And you can check out all my videos on all these knives that I'm mentioning at the Knife Shark channel. That's basically what I'll be doing. So let me go ahead and take the rest of these away and continue on with the Kershaw Gray Speedbump. Let's take a look at the knife and do some size comparisons. Unfortunately, we'll be doing the same knives over and over again. No, Omar, yeah! I got no choice. I'm not that rich. Here's the Spyderco Swish Bowie. But, you know, as you guys notice, all the knives that I do size comparisons to are usually knives that are very popular or people are wanting to have, so I'm sure they don't mind seeing those knives again. So the Spyderco Swish Bowie. I'm probably going to have custom scales done on this piece, by the way. Maybe get titanium scales in blue. So I'll be doing a video on that. I'm definitely going to want to do that for the Spyderco Swish Bully. And I've actually done a video on this knife as well, if you guys want to check that out on my channel. Let's go ahead and put it up against the ZT-0900. Another discontinued knife. Alrighty. How about a treat for all you guys? You've never seen this one, probably. My John Arnold custom piece. Just for fun. I've done a video on this as well, and check that out. How about my Chris Reeve large in Cosi? And lastly, the Chris Reeve Sebenza 21 with Box Elder Burl. So there you go. As you can see, it's a medium a medium size to large knife, depending on how you look at it. I consider this a large blade myself. For me, a medium-sized knife is anything that falls between 3.1 and 3.4 would be considered a medium-sized knife to me. As soon as it hits 3.5, in my opinion, it's a large knife. So there you have it, the Kershaw Ken Onion 1595 gray speed bump. This is actually, out of the entire series, I wanted to just say this, and I don't know why this is, but I'm going to say it anyway. Out of the entire Kershaw Bump 1500 series, you would think that these two here and this one would be the most difficult to get, but actually they weren't. Not for me anyway. I can't say that I got this easily, but I did get it a lot easier than getting this knife. Because simply for the fact that the popularity of this knife, that's another thing about collectibles. If the knife is really popular back in its day, you're probably not going to find one of these knives, or that particular knife, in mint condition or in brand new condition. Because I've come across this knife quite a bit before, but it was used, it was beat up. I mean, it was in really bad shape. You know, they had sand on the thing, and they wanted so much money for it. I passed up, and then I found a gentleman who sold me his for a reasonable price, fairly close to what it was back in the day, when it was actually not discontinued. So, yeah, so you're going to want to watch out for that. If the knife is very popular, whether it's a budget knife or a high-end knife, you will have difficulty in attaining the quality of that knife that you're looking for. In this case, I'm looking for brand new to like new with the knife in the box. So, which is an interesting point, because these knives here were all safe cleans, right? These three here were all safe cleans and never really used. The ones that are actually used quite a bit, yeah, they're going to be a little bit hard to find in a box brand new. So you want to keep that in mind when you're collecting your knives, whether you're collecting CRKT or whether you're collecting Kershaw or ZT or whatever the deal is. You might want to keep that in mind from a collection standpoint. So it's just kind of an interesting thing to bring up. So there you have it, the Kershaw 1595 Speed Bump, a really nice, good, solid budget folder back in the day. Everybody loved this knife. Myself, personally, I just had to have it in my collection. I don't think this would be a knife that I would actually buy, though, back in the day, if I actually liked it. Probably because of the color. It doesn't have much pizzazz to it. I think it would have been kind of cool if they maybe did several other different colors other than gray and black. But I think they were thinking, well, you're going to be using this knife outdoors. It's probably going to get dirty. It's probably going to get all beat up. So, you know, why not just black and gray? And I think if you're going to look at it from that standpoint, they would be correct. So, This is Omar, the Knife Shark Guy, once again signing off, hoping you'll find this piece of sharp art in your collection. Thank you so much for watching, and please subscribe and comment. I want to hear your comments. Once again, Omar, the Knife Shark Guy, signing off. Have a good evening.